Benzoin. Benzoin is a very kind of unique sap taken from certain trees. I think it's also considered a balsam. Anyway, it's this very resinous kind of similar to amber sort of note. And it's often found in the base notes of many a fragrance. And I have a small list here of fragrances that I think do a pretty good job of highlighting the beauty of benzoin, because it is a very nice note. It's kind of not quite incensey, but it often is paired with incense notes, and it often is paired with other resins like opopanax or amber to give this very nice kind of, rocky, warm sort of fragrance. So I'll start with one that I think is the best for benzoin, which is quite an old fragrance, Taboo, from Dana, which is from 1932, and this is a Spanish fragrance. Very, very strong, very kind of spicy, incensey, definitely polarizing, because it's so strong with those notes that some people just can't stand it. They have to leave the room, or they love it and they can't get enough of it. And interestingly, this is an eau de cologne, if you can see, which means it's actually weaker in concentration than any eau de toilette, eau de parfum, and any extrait. So that still doesn't mean that it's weak, because it's very, very strong. Most likely because of those really heavy resin and incense notes and spice notes. So the benzoin in this really shines through because it's really paired with kind of these smoky notes and things like that. So it really kind of feels like, I don't know, kind of just burning, smoldering resin, which makes it very, very warm, very heavy. And I would say men could also wear this because it's so strong and smoky. Traditionally it's been a woman's fragrance, but like I said, it both is good. And yeah, this is probably the strongest benzoin fragrance on this list. It's just more exemplified, more highlighted. Then, in a similar vein, there's another pretty old fragrance. This is actually older. This is Emerald. My poor cap has been broken because my qualm is that it's just made of cheap plastic, which isn't great. However, the bottle's still some nice glass. This came out in 1921, so it's older than Taboo. It is an amber citrus fragrance for the most part, but it does have a very nice note of benzoin, which is nicely paired with that amber. Usually, benzoin as a kind of sap resin thing goes well with other resins. So it has that nice kind of warm note that it adds to the base notes. It's also very similar to Shalimar, and actually Shalimar was inspired off of Emerald. It's just Emerald that it's a bit weaker. Interestingly, this is also an eau de cologne, similar to Taboo. However, this is much fainter. It won't last as long. Taboo will probably last all day, meanwhile Emerald might only last 2 hours. So definitely a big difference there. However, the benzoin note is still very nice, very definitely noticeable, along with that amber note. So definitely a good one. It's also, both of these are also very affordable. I think Taboo is $20 and Emerald is like $14, $15. So then, if you want some more high class, kind of more luxury fragrances, there's, let's see, from Serge Lutin, Ambre Sultan. So Amber Sultan, basically. The thing with this, you can get an idea from how dark and sleek this packaging is. This is a pretty musky, not just heavy, sort of warm sort of fragrance. It's also very resinous overall, because not only does it have benzoin, it also has myrrh and amber and just general resins, along with some sandalwood, some coriander, some vanilla, things like that. So it's definitely really resinous, very kind of incensey, and definitely a little bit exotic. You can kind of get that Eastern feel from it, and it's very pleasant. It's unisex, so, you know, very versatile. And it's definitely, I would say it's moderate. It's strong, but not too strong. And it could easily last all day, all evening. And it's just very pleasant. I like how it has kind of a smooth warmness. It reminds me a little bit of just some smoldering embers, a little bit. Not as incensey as Taboo, but definitely in that vein. Then there's from Jovoy, what is it? Pavilion Rouge from Jovoy. So this as well has, I would say, the benzoin note in this one isn't as strong as the others. However, it's still noticeable. It's still, you know, very present. The reason I say it's not too in your face is because it's kind of a little bit obscured by some other very strong notes, particularly leather, tobacco, ebony, and then also some spices and some rum notes. So it's full of really strong notes. So the benzoin gets a little bit overshadowed, but it's still there. You still get it. Overall, it's a pretty heavy fragrance. So just keep that in mind. Then the last one, which I don't actually have, is Flower Bomb Nectar by Victor and Rolf. So this is, it's kind of fruity, but also, and like feminine, but also pretty heavy and kind of smoky. It has notes of gunpowder, along with tonka bean, benzoin, and then some patchouli and some florals. This is kind of pretty different from some of these other fragrances. It's definitely more noticeably feminine, rather than more of a unisex thing. But the benzoin still holds its own. It has to compete with the gunpowder note and the tonka bean. But it pairs well with the patchouli note, and overall, you definitely get it once it dries down on your skin. It's definitely a nice kind of warm, resinous benzoin note. And it lasts a pretty long time, so that's a bonus. That's pretty much all I have to say about benzoin fragrances. If you have any opinions about them, you can leave them down in the comment section below. If you like the video, leave a like, maybe subscribe, and I make videos throughout the week, so stick around for those.